Hey, what's up, Street Talks? The Eric from the Eric Street Photography blog. Currently, I wanted to do something in which I gave some more feedback and critique on people's street photographs. And I think one of the biggest problems with the internet in general when it comes to photography is that I think there's a huge lack of honest, direct feedback in terms of people's photographs. And I want us to start to use this new segment to just kind of, build value and help people out. And if you guys are interested in participating, uploading images to my timeline. So you could just go to facebook.com/ericinphotography. And I don't know what it looks like on your side, but if you just click photo and upload photos, I think generally it'll upload it directly to my page. And I don't know exactly how often I plan to do this, but whenever I'm at home and I have some time, I love to help you guys out. So let's check out some of these recent proposals for critiques. So looking at these photos. So for those of you guys who got sent in photos to get critiqued, please take everything with a grain of salt. This is just going to be me trying to be as quote unquote candid and honest as I possibly can. So this is a photo by Thierry. What I really like about the photo when I see it immediately is kind of this 50% of the frame left here. I really love the surrealism of this bunny, which is a nice pink color juxtaposing against the blue, which is obviously looks like it's the person's head. This interesting hand gesture, this woman walking here, it looks like there's kind of some, kind of angsty expression here. And the back of this guy's head isn't too bad. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting that he has a bald spot here. Where I think the photo falls a bit apart is, I think if really wanted this to be a really great photo, is if whoever was here was a little bit more to the right, and you could also see their hand gesture, and also the back of this person's head is not that interesting, and you also have a pole coming out of the frame here. I think, Thierry, if you could have done this photograph a bit differently, is if you've perhaps photographed this from here to this point here and seeing if there's a little more interesting thing here, because whenever I'm looking at photos, I'm interested in finding the meat of the photo, which I find the most interesting. So this entire part of the frame's very, very interesting. This part, not so much. So this is one photo by Anti, I think. Sorry, once again, I'm not very good with names. So this is a photo that you shot with a flash. This woman walking, kind of lost in thought. What I like about the shot is, she's got a decent expression in her face. The use of the flash helps pop her out from the background. But the reason why, to me, this shot, it just kind of looks like a snap-by shot. It's not that interesting because her expression, her face, it's not interesting enough for me. It's kind of like this lost in thought expression, and it doesn't really say much to me. And I think a really great street photograph is a photo which combines interesting subject and interesting background. While the background does give you a sense of place, the photo doesn't really say too much to me about humanity. And also, there's all these leading lines which take your eyes here, but the subject's smack dab in the center of the frame. If you took a step to the left and shot this more head on and put the subject's face here in this intersecting point here, I think the photograph would have worked a lot better. So this is a photograph by Christopher. So yeah, first of all, I mean, I think it's a nice mood. I like you got some golden light on him, guy with a cowboy's hat, frame in a frame, which is quite nice. And he's got like this pensive look, hands on the cup looking at. For me, the photo, I think, could have used a little bit more negative space on the top because you're chopping off his hat, and also I wish I could see more of the edges of this window. And for me, the game breaker is the fact that you have someone else overlap with this guy here and also this cup sticking out here. Ideally, you wouldn't want this other person on the side of him to show up. So what you could have done is shot this a little more from the right and crouched down a bit more. And I think what could have made this a really, really great photo is if you had a self-portrait of yourself holding your camera, maybe in this shadow right here. This is a photograph for Kamo. I can't even pronounce your name, but it's a nice photo. Like you got the arch here, nice blacks, but then you could see there's not enough separation between the silhouette of this guy in the black and the black background. Ideally, you'd probably want him a bit here. A nice shadow here. You got the full thing here. But to me, I feel like I've seen this shot like a lot. And it's really missing a cherry on top. Perhaps if there was like a plane or something else happening here, I think it'd be memorable. Unpyo. Yep. So from Kyoto. I know exactly where he shot this, which is nice. For me, nice sense of place. I like the silhouettes, but it's a little bit too busy for me. I think, I kind of like these people walking across here, but there's just a little bit too much happening in this side of the frame. I would have done is, less is more. Only photograph the right part of the frame here and just kind of totally disregarded the left side here. So, continuing. This is a photo by Arnab. And, it kind of reminds me of this, let's see, Martin Koski. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kids by Water. So it kind of reminds me of this Cartier-Bresson. So anyways, here it is. So this is a photograph by Martin Moone, and this was actually one of the first photos which inspired Cartier-Bresson to start taking photos. And this photo kind of reminds me of that, but for me, it just feels a little bit too far and distant. You probably shot this with a tele lens from up looking down, and kind of gives you a good perspective. Nice to size the Moone kid jumping into the water. But for me, it just feels a little bit detached. I want you to see, right where the action is. I'd prefer you being directly on the beach, kind of getting a more intimate look. If not, if you wanted this to be a super, super graphic image, then I would have even a longer lens and just photographed this part here. It is kind of nice that you have some, sense of place here. And also, this is me just nitpicking, but this person just kind of disappears into this wall here. And maybe if you just photographed, like just that part. But I like the action, the life. Might look a little bit better blown up. So this is another photograph by, oh my god, I'm so bad with names. Kurniadi. Sorry, I'm totally butchering your name. And yeah, so this is a couple. This is a photo, two girls on their phones, and you have like these advertising background. I like how this girl's looking up at you, which adds a little more connection. They're on their phones. But for me, it's really tough to make these kind of juxtaposition shots of people against billboards. Like for me, I just see a lot of these kind of photos, and they're just honestly not that interesting to me. I think this photo would have been much more interesting if maybe they weren't just on their phones, if there was a little bit something more interesting. And maybe you're trying to say the juxtaposition between these girls, who I assume are Muslim, and these other girls. But to me, it doesn't really have strong enough of a juxtaposition. Like maybe if they were like wearing burqas or something like that, it would have been more interesting. But I feel like it's kind of missing that special sauce. So this is a photo by Brandon. Hello, Brandon. I know you interact with me a lot, so thank you for the support. So this is a photo that he shot on Hollywood. I actually quite like the shot a lot. It reminds me kind of a Winogrand shot. There's a lot of action. He's really filled the frame. Really nice light, all these different faces, good separation between the faces. I really like the expression of this woman's face right here, but everyone else is a little bit too maybe lost in thought. And maybe if they had stronger expressions in their faces. But I do like the movement. I like the little flare here and the movement. It'd be interesting to see part of this longer series for your Hollywood Boulevard series. But yeah, this shot is pretty good. See more stories. Okay, so Ijul, I think. Really good. This woman here, this guy filling the frame here. But what's missing is having somebody here. Or another face here, what could have been secret sauce, but you're about 80-70% there. Nice photo with this guy here holding the can, looking over his shoulder. Wish this guy wasn't sticking out his shoulder. And to me, the shot's lacking a little bit of context. Like he's kind of looking over his shoulder, but I don't know really what this photo says about humanity or what's going on. And to me, it's not interesting enough to hold my attention. So this is Bawe, sorry. And this is actually kind of a nice photo. It's a very timeless photo. I like this kid, covered up all this plastic looking over. I don't know what this is. Presumably someone else wearing the raincoat. But to me, this is a little bit distracting. And also, since you have this nice leading line here, I would actually prefer to see this kid's face smack dab in the center. But I do kind of like the timeless look. Continuing. So I don't know if this is for the critique, but I'll critique it anyways. So this photo by Keith. Interesting facial expression, nice textures, but too HDR for me. I would just say lighten down on the post-processing, and the background's a bit busy. So if you actually wanted to make this photo a little bit better, using a flash in this situation would separate the subject and the background. Or if you perhaps shot just a vertical shot of this subject here. Not the most interesting subject in the world like the textures, but I wish maybe she was doing some sort of interesting hand gesture or something. So this is a photo by Francois. Yeah, it's kind of a nice photo. You know, you have this nice diagonal covering the face here, guy standing here, also this bin here. So there's nice little things connected here. But, oh, I could have popped these a lot bigger. I'll do this next time. But what I think makes this photo doesn't work as much is all this kind of clutter in the background. Honestly, there's really not much else you could have done differently. I do like the McDonald's. And maybe if you had somebody kind of here seeing it as well. I know you guys are probably thinking, oh my god, Eric, you're so nitpicky. It's a street photograph, whatever. But I think when I'm looking at other people's photos, I'm not really a perfectionist, but I think I am kind of trying to look for perfection, or, you know, things that you can think about next time you make similar images. But yeah, I like the shot, Francois. I'll give you a little like. Sorry for the other people I didn't like. Nothing personal. Photo by Rick. Interesting. You have perhaps when I first look at it looked like the car was on fire. You have these police, but what's missing for me is a face, because I want to see a facial gesture, an expression, maybe a rider or something. I feel like it gives me a little bit of clues in terms of what's going on, but not enough clues. Photo by Dario. So yeah, like the nice geometry, the nice you know, kind of this. You got the squares here, square here. I like the post processing, nice mood. Umbrella, guy walking, mid V, black. Yeah, I think this would make a nice print. I mean, maybe not exactly the most original shot I've ever seen. I've seen like lots of photos like this before, but I think the geometry, the spacing, the position of this guy here, I think it works. Okay, Martin. Oh, this is kind of surreal. I like that one. So what I like is you got an interesting hand gesture, nice yellows against the blues. But oh my god, what happened to this guy's head, right? And also you see nice details like this guy here. And yeah, there's a lot of nice tension in this photograph. He looks like he's about to stick into his pocket. And whenever I look at a photo and I'm just kind of like WTF, it's a good sign. Nitpicks, I mean, I wish maybe you got more of this on top of the frame, but yeah, I like the shot. Nice one, Martin. Okay, this photo by Mateo. Nice leading lines here. Good job. I like the colors, expression. I mean, I just hate photos of people on their phones. I mean, maybe 200 years from now, people are like, oh, that was so romantic. People on cell phones, blah, blah. But for me personally, it's just not that interesting. And perhaps I wish the kid was like, maybe if you just waited till he looked straight at you. It's photo by Sebastian. It's kind of a nice, kind of like this moment too. So, interesting subject. I like the way he's licking his cone. Kid licking his cone, and then you have some sort of drama here. A little bit on the busy side because there's a lot going on in the frame. I don't honestly know what you could have done differently. Perhaps taken a step to the right, and shot looking over his shoulder and filling the frame with him, this kid here, and then the people here. But you know, generally I like the colors that take your eyes around the frame. I mean, it's kind of a nice photo of street life. But yeah, like if you could eliminate some more of the clutter next time. Photo by Owen. This is what they often call like a one-liner photo. This looks like it's his head, which is good. I mean, I've seen this kind of effect done a lot, but you have a lot of negative space on the right side of the frame. If something else more interesting was happening, then I would have thought it was better. Photo by Rom. So nice light, kid holding a, thing here. What was this? A fan, yeah. What could have made this a better shot? Maybe if this kid was looking back at you, or there's something else a little bit more interesting. So I feel like this has all the ingredients for a good photo, but it's missing a little bit of that cherry on top. So photo by Geronimo. Yeah, nice, cute kid hula hooping, look at you. I don't know if this is somebody you know. Like if I looked at this photo off the bat, I'll be like, oh, that's cute. Maybe it's your daughter or kid or somebody you know. I mean, nice slice out of everyday life. Assuming it is a stranger. Maybe a little bit too much negative space on the bottom. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice photo. Not maybe the most memorable photo. I don't know what could have made this a stronger image per se, but I mean, this is just my personal take. I wish it was a little bit grittier, but it is a nice photo. It makes me smile. Okay, hey Douglas, nice to have you. So yeah, this is actually yeah, nice one. So I do love all these kind of curves and these circles here, like this little balloon here, this interaction here. The background is relatively clean, and to me, the cherry on top of this woman walking on the side. Yeah, I like this shot. And what could have made this a really, really great shot, but this is me being anal, is maybe if it has someone here, but general, I think it's a good shot. Nice one, Douglas. Photo by Anton. You know, kind of a juxtaposition between this guy and this guy here, but a little bit too much negative space around the sides. Maybe if you crouched down and shot over his shoulder and had his face closer to his face, it could have made this a stronger image. Tiras, yeah, nice leading line, good hand gesture, kid looking at you here. But maybe if you had this the moment that he was holding a gun in his other hand or something like that. Also, the kid looks a little bit out of focus, which is a bit distracting for me. Yeah, nice one, Costa. Good hand gesture. Nice colors. Use the flash. I wish you had a little bit more of a necklace. A little bit interesting context in the background of these people, but I feel like there's just not enough. Like, I don't know if it's just a photo of a friend you shot or at a party, chopped off the top of her head. So maybe if you had one eye open or more context while it's going on, I think it would have been a stronger shot. Photo by Richard. Ooh, this is kind of cool. Nice little triangle composition here. I wish they weren't smiling. I like his serious look. I like that. But maybe if they were a little bit more serious. But nice job with the triangle, Richard. Photo by Kui. So it's a cute photo, you know. Two kids. It kind of reminds me of when me and my sister would do these things at the aquarium. Like their silhouettes, the jellyfish. For me, what doesn't work about the shot is I wish that wasn't sticking out of his head. I wish there was maybe perhaps a little bit more separation. It's a nice mood. Also, in terms of the post-processing, it looks like maybe just some sort of grain reduction. Like it just looks a little bit unnatural around the edges. So I'm not exactly sure how you post-process this, but yeah, you know, maybe consider reprocessing this a little bit differently. But it's a nice mood. So thanks for submitting, Devin. This is interesting. That's pretty interesting. I like the composition, the diagonal, not the diagonal, the triangle. This here, this really silhouette-y, you know, mysterious figure here, and the person here. I kind of wish this wasn't a lady just kind of eating a sandwich. I wish there was something a little more interesting. I don't know, like a woman just standing, hand on her hip. I also wish maybe there was someone's face or something peeping out here. I mean, I know I'm asking a lot, but I think what makes this shot really good is this kind of figure here. So not my favorite shot, but I think the way he composed and framed it was really good. This one, Devin. So cool. Yeah, nice composition, nice framing. Got the guy mid-step. But to me, it's just a purely geometry shot. It doesn't really say much about life. Whenever I'm looking at street photos, I'm looking for life. I'm looking for emotions. I'm looking for more context. So I feel like without that little bit of emotion, it falls a bit flat for me. Okay, Leonardo. This is a cool one. I love the mystery of the hats. I like the high contrast. And then also the juxtaposition of the subway. It kind of makes me curious in terms of what they're looking at, but I still want to see more faces. Or if you could have shot this differently, maybe just fill the frame with just the hats. But yeah, it's an interesting shot. Photo by Joseph. So interesting moment here. Guy walking by, looking at the butt, perhaps. Yeah, nice moment, nice capturing everyday life kind of thing, but yeah, it doesn't really, like, not emotional enough for me. And this is once again all my just personal take, is what I'm looking for in photos, or photos that have really strong emotion that make me think about the quote quote human condition. Photo by Edgar. So cute kid. So the problem here you have, Edgar, is you have all these leading lines taking you to this part of the frame, but this is your subject. So either you would want the kid over here, or you just wouldn't want to show this part of the frame. And there's nothing really going on in this photo, so it's just not that interesting for me. Um, One photo by Miles. So interesting, decisive moment. I like the composition with the diagonal here. You can see this guy's butt stepping outside. It's a nice moment, but maybe if you can see the guy's face and yeah, like his stepping out is interesting, but just not as interesting as I would have liked. I don't know what would make it more interesting, honestly, but to me, it's just not that interesting. But I think you framed and composed it really well. So photo by Dwayne. Nice framing here, got on the guitar, but yeah, it looks like you have a saw here, but maybe if you had a little more of his hand, or maybe you had a little more of his hand here. Interesting composition and framing, but maybe not enough context for me. Photo by Cristiano. So cute kid, mom's hand poking here. I wish these poles weren't kind of sticking out her head. And it looks like maybe you over processed this photo too much, meaning you know, you've really artificially darkened the background and you've really dodged the subject. So it looks a little bit unnatural, which is, I mean, I guess it's okay if that's kind of your style, but essentially, you know, yeah, like the nice gesture, her looking at you, but maybe the background isn't as interesting for me. Whoa. So, photo by Daniel. First of all, I mean, nice framing, nice composition, the people on the sides here, and this is a cute photo, but please, 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 less SGR. Otherwise, nice moment. I'll have to, because it's just, I think aesthetically, too much HDR or clarity or whatever, it just looks kind of nasty to me. So, reprocess this and maybe repost that one, Daniel. So Peter, that's interesting. I like that one. I really like this diagonal composition here, and to me the reason why I really like this photo is that there's a lot of hidden meaning in this photo. So first of all, you have religion, Jesus, you have this empty baby stroller, and you're like, oh, what happened to the baby, you know? And then you have this guy running away, so maybe he's running away from his fatherly duties. Maybe if you just straighten this photo a little bit, that's a small nitpick, but overall I think it's actually a very interesting and intriguing photo. Nice one, Peter. So Kevi, yeah, nice moment. You got this guy's hand covering. I like how nice and low you are. These nice little subjects here. Kind of unorthodox framing. I like the small details. This guy walking away. Maybe if you framed a little bit more to left, I think this much too much negative space on the right side. But yeah, like generally you see old Asian dudes. They're generally easy subjects. But I think the way you framed this and the hand over his face made this a nice one. Yeah, nice one, Kevi. So Carlo, yeah, nice photo, pretty, would make a nice little poster, but for me, this is just kind of like a little too National Geographic for me. I want to see a little bit something more rugged and raw. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice photograph. Nothing I could really say bad about. Maybe a little more negative space on the bottom of the frame. Colin. So you kind of caught this moment where this guy's looking at you and he's looking at you. I would have preferred to see more of their interaction with one another. And here the reflection doesn't really add to the frame to me. There's a little bit too much clutter at the edges of the frame. So next time when you're shooting through Windows reflections, yeah, just a lot of it is honestly luck. Just kind of keep clicking away. Okay, so a photo by Glenn. So immediately when I look at this photo, I like the guy looking straight at me and this kid looking at me, but it's just too much clutter. There's too much going on. I don't know how much I feel about the way you post-process the photo, like kind of that fadey look. To me, it's not my cup of tea. I would have preferred more contrast. But yeah, maybe next time use a flash and just try to simplify the scene. Maybe just photograph this kid or just this guy. So gyro. Okay, so if you're going to have two people blurred here, which is a nice composition, maybe you want these people here looking at you because all the leading lines take you to this part of the frame. So actually, guys, I have no idea how many of these you guys upload, but I'm just going to try to truck through as much of them as I can. So this is a photo by Josh. Nice decisive moment of the bird. Nice shadow here, this lady walking, but a little bit too simple and minimalist for me. I mean, this is kind of cool how that looks like this. Maybe you could say the metaphor like women are walking away in flight and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a nice photograph. I feel like it's just missing a little bit of that special sauce. So this is a photo by Alku. Once again, pronunciation is not so good. I kind of like the spacing of all these subjects within the frame, but once again, this a little bit too much clutter. I would have preferred maybe if you stood over here and shot over his shoulder, and you'd have his face closer to his face and have a more like side-on perspective. Here you're shooting a little bit too much from the side. I would prefer it if you shoot this a little bit more head-on. So this is a photo by Kez. You know, nice couple here, but too much clutter in the background. Also, you're a little bit too far away. Maybe if you just got a little bit up closer and shot a little bit more head-on. This photo by Nico. This is just a personal preference. I don't really like it when people crop into a square unless you shot a square. And I think generally, you know, I would have just preferred to see maybe just a vertical shot or horizontal shot. Interesting movement with these people here, but it's kind of purely graphical shot. There's not enough emotion for me. I would have preferred it if they had more interesting gestures, or you can see their facial expressions. So a photo by Carl. Nice close intimacy here. Nice decisive moment here. Not much going on here. Not much going on here. I mean, this person with the umbrella, but I like that eye gesture, but the edges of the frame are just not as interesting for me, Carl. Gonna have some more tea and wait for this to load. Looks like the Facebooks is not liking me trying to load some more stuff. Oops, not that. Okay. So it looks like Facebook has kind of changed their little thing to see stuff on the post on the page. So maybe I'll add some sort of different mechanism to try to figure out better ways I could organize these critiques. Maybe make a Flickr page or something else. But anyways, yeah. I guess these are all the ones I'm going to do for today. Thanks guys for participating. I'll put another show note up on social media in terms of like when I'm going to offer the next critique. But yeah, biggest takeaways in terms of this critique session is watch out for messy backgrounds. So, you know, a lot of this happens when you're shooting, but also during the editing phase. So messy backgrounds often a good way to ruin a photo. B, you want more emotion in photos. So I love purely compositional photos only if the compositions are 100% perfect. Otherwise, I really want to see more emotion. Third thing, post-processing. This is also a personal preference, but I hate HDR and I hate photos that have too little contrast. So don't use HDR, selective color, stuff like that. Try to process it, I think, a little bit more traditionally. Number 4, people on cell phones. Generally discourage it. It's kind of an easy shot. Try to get shots of people not on their cell phones. That's another suggestion. And yeah, the last thing is, just look at the edges of your frame. A lot of you guys who uploaded photos, the photos look really good. Continue to look at the edges of the frame and just think to yourself, how can I make this an even better shot? But anyways, guys, thanks for participating. Follow me on Facebook, Eric Kim, facebook.com/EricKimPhotography. Or I might put out a note on Twitter the next time I do this, twitter.com/EricKimPhoto. Or you can always check out my blog, erickinphotography.com/blog, and I'll try to figure out how I could help you guys more. So thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.